Hey traders, Control the Trade here, taking a look at Finviz.com. I like to use Finviz for screening for stocks and trying to find high probability setups and potential day trades. One of the things that I like to do and look for when I'm trading, I like to find potential short squeezes. So I'm going to do a quick scan just to show you what that looks like. So when you're at Finviz.com, you can register for an account. I'm logged out right now, but they also have a paid service. So you might notice that the free service, you're going to have a lot of pop-ups. It's worth dealing with because it's a great screener. Definitely like some of the features here. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So first thing, let's pretend we're at the home page here. You get to the home page, finviz.com. I went to screener, and then it automatically brings pretty much every stock up, and then you can go ahead and find the different settings and the different. Okay, so you have descriptive, fundamental, and technical. So descriptive, it comes up as the default. They have the current volume, the average volume. Volume is important. You need that volume in the market. You need that supply and demand in order to move the stock. So let's go ahead and select average volume. Let's go ahead and go with over 1 million. That's a little high, but I want to really dial this down as much as I can. The float short, that's what I'm looking for. The amount of short selling transactions of a given stock. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now there are highly shorted stocks out there. With the market being up as much as it's been lately, there's been a lot of short squeezes, so there's not as many as, let's say, under normal conditions, we could say. So I'm going to pick a high percentage here. Let's start with, we'll dial it back in a second. Let's start with over 20%. Let's see how many rows we're down to here. We still have a lot, so then I'm going to go ahead and organize this by volume. And the next thing we want to do is kind of just take a quick glance at this again, make sure that we like this. I also like to look at the price. I don't want anything that's under $1. So let's go over $1. You could keep it in there, but let's just stick with over $1 for now. There's still a lot of stocks here. Let's go float short over 25%. I really want ones that are going to move on any type of. If there's any type of move upwards that can create a chain reaction, we can create algorithms starting to sell automatically, cover the shorts. You have just a lot of retail traders start covering shorts, and that's also called panic buying. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that panic buying. Just like when a stock is going down and it just keeps going and going, there's panic selling. If you've ever been in that situation, that feeling of where's the bottom, the falling knife, that sort of thing, it's the opposite with the short squeeze. It can be, at least. All right, so how many do we have now? Now we're down to 4 pages, not bad. Let's go ahead and look at the charts. For me, it becomes visual at this point. Charting's like another language. And I try to look for things that maybe are approaching an important moving average, or maybe have already crossed an important moving average. I'll give you an example of what doesn't look good, like Luckin Coffee, whatever, Luckin Coffee. That had a really bad close. That will be a good short squeeze eventually, but you have to look for sort of a trend change first. I might take a look at American Airlines. Let's come back to that. So OPK, for example, that is a pretty bullish looking chart at a glance. I'm going to come back and look at that. Same thing with Bed Bath & Beyond. You can see it's above all these moving averages. There's even these automatic trend lines that they put in Finviz. It's well above this trend line. You have a big gap up here. So this is a good opportunity for a short squeeze here. Same thing with Virgin Galactic. That's definitely another good opportunity here. It's close to the 50-day moving average. So I also would go ahead into my trading app, and I would set alerts when I maybe write some of these down. Let's take a look at a couple more pages here. Rite Aid is always on a short squeeze, I feel like. And then we're going to click into one of these in a second so I can show you the short float for each one. Wow, look at this one. GSX. And that is talk about a bull flag pattern there. Look at that developing. Let's see what the float short is on this one. 33%. Wow. Now these numbers aren't always completely up to date. You have to take some of this with a grain of salt. Do a little more research. Don't just blindly go into these. You really want to study the chart. But it's a good way to kind of dial it down, and it's a good way to find things. It's a good way to identify the stocks that might explode on these short squeezes. So let's pretend we had looked at this and we had run the scan back in the beginning of June. You know, maybe I'll come right here and I see, oh, it just popped over this moving average here. It's a nice gap up candle here. You might want to put this one on your radar, and look what happened after that. I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but the point is, I don't know anything about this company, but that sure looks like a short squeeze to me. Let's take a look at a couple more. El Dorado Resorts is definitely one that I've seen kind of go crazy with the squeeze, and with short sellers pushing it down. I'm going to keep looking here. I definitely missed a couple nice charts here too, by the way, as I'm looking. Look at Match. Wow. Match is just exploding right now. Definitely a short squeeze. Stitch Fix is another one that I'm going to have to look up. Look at Wayfair is another great example of a short squeeze. Shorts keep picking the top on this one, that's for sure. 28%. I feel like it was 50% at one point. Carvana. I keep thinking this one's going to break out. You still have this gap right here that you think eventually it would fill. It hasn't. You know, it's definitely teased these little breakouts. That's definitely one to keep an eye on. Always set your alerts, because it's easy to forget about when you've scanned and then you completely forget what you did. Here, I like this one is a mover for sure. I've definitely traded this before. APPN. And it looks like I'd like a little more volume here to see a reversal, but this to me looks like an ABC pattern developing here. So you have the A leg up, B leg down, and then maybe we get a C leg here back up. You have a double top in. Still, it's not looking that great. It is above the 200-day moving average. So as long as it's above the 200-day moving average, not bad. Looks like we filled this gap here. And we have some support here in the mid-40s. It's hard. This is definitely one to keep an eye on. All right, let's try to put this into practice real quick. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I think ticker SPCE Virgin Galactic is definitely one to watch. I don't like this downtrend that it's in, but the fact that it's over a lot of the important moving averages here, and even this trend line that they drew here, and that looks like a nice doji candle right there on at 1542. I want to bring this into my charting software and take a look at it. All right, let's take a look at one more. Talked about Bed Bath & Beyond. You can see I did some charting on this a while back. So you have this old line here at 1606. And it looks like we just closed. Did we close above the 200-day? 1082. Cut that. So wow, we closed 1 penny above the 200-day moving average. That is bullish. Now you do have some room to move down here, but talk about a potential short squeeze here. The top of this candle here is a high of 1110. So I'm gonna go ahead and set an alert around 11, and let's see what happens if it gets past 1110 today. You're gonna see a nice squeeze. Look at all this room it has to move to. There's a gap right here. This could easily get up to $13 soon. Fill this gap up here to 14. And we might even make it all the way back up to $16. Just remember there's support and there's a little gap down here. So it's a nice risk reward. One to keep an eye on. I'm going to set a couple more alerts just in case I don't want to miss any of these, because this will move fast and furious if it does squeeze. And I also want to be aware that if it pulls back, where it's going, so I can find support or I can just not trade it. Let's just say $10. And that's just a small look, a tiny look into how I screen and try to find potential short squeezes for high probability day trades. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't let the trade control you.